See, I execute moves these fools they can't imagine. A celebrity death match with Osama bin Laden. We smoke good and all my friends, they don't remember me. We walk around with cotton mouth and loss of memory.
In the ever-evolving landscape of hip-hop, there are very few artists who have left as much of an impact as Ludacris. Born in Illinois and raised in Atlanta, Ludacris became a huge staple in the early 2000s in Southern hip-hop, reaching mainstream status. Ludacris was also my favorite rapper as a kid, along with Eminem. He just had such a great sense of humor in his music, along with making it super catchy, and had an amazing beat selection. Ludacris started his career in the music industry by working as an intern and then DJ at Atlanta's Hot 97.5 with the name Chris Lova Lova. While working there, he would become friends with the producer Timbaland, who added him to his album on the song Fat Rabbit. This would soon lead into an incredible 4-album run from Ludacris, starting with the album Back for the First Time, then to Word of Mouth, Chicken and Beer, and The Red Light District. And I want to talk about these albums and the fire-ass track selection they had, and talk about the incredible run that Ludacris had. But first, please like and subscribe to the channel. I am new here. I have made a couple videos that are doing pretty good, and I would like to continue that run. So please, if you, just like and subscribe. Thank you. Women on they cell making long time, and if they like to juggle, get long time. Ludacris released his independent debut album Incognito, but was basically repurposed into his first studio debut album, Back for the First Time. Released in October of 2000 after signing to Def Jam South, it debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200s and was a great way to introduce Ludacris to a wider mainstream audience. The opening track, You Had a Problem, is a crazy intro to the album, sampling some villainous classical music to Plot and Scheme 2 type beat, and it comes in super aggressive with such a unique sounding voice, rapping so smoothly on the beat. The song What's Your Fantasy, featuring Chicago artist Shawnna, that was a very raunchy and energetic club banger with such a crazy unique beat and catchy chorus. Honestly, if you listen to the beat of this song, it's insane how these beats were made and being used. They don't make them like these anymore. Ho, where Ludacris changes words to rhyme or sound like ho, which really show you a glimpse of the type of wordplay Ludacris would use throughout his songs. It really made him a little bit more animated throughout his raps. Southern Hospitality, which featured production from the Neptunes and also creating a real one-of-a-kind flow, and really made Ludacris stand out. This, along with What's Your Fantasy, would get a lot of airtime, with the music videos being played heavily on MTV and BET in the early 2000s. Side note, do you guys remember waking up and putting on music videos while getting ready for school in the morning? Did anyone else share that experience? I vividly remember specifically the My Humps by Black Eyed Peas and Oops, I Did It Again. I don't know why those are the ones that come to mind, but anyways. Another thing that Ludacris did on a lot of his early albums was include this like freestyle cypher track in the album. And this one specifically has one of like my favorite lines I've ever even heard in a rap, and it's not even from Ludacris, it's from the featured artist, 4 Eyes.
I am going to blow up the earth with my Pew 36 explosive space modulator. I got the groove, I pay my dues, breaking the rules and say cool, let them take it a cruise.
Word of Mouth came out on November 2001 and reached the number 3 spot on the Billboard 200 and sold almost double of what his first album sold. The album really shined by Ludacris adding humor and unique cadences along with the songs, something that other rappers weren't really doing at the time. And it really shows with the intro song. Coming to America starts the album with another flip of classical music using both Mozart and Dvorak, as well as starting with an interpolation of the intro of the movie Coming to America, with one of Ludacris's craziest verses. It's just an amazing way to start the album. Rollout is a catchy, iconic song of his. Produced by Timbaland, the song was nominated for a Grammy. Extremely infectious, and also not to mention saying the phrase rollout 75 times. And the reason that I know this is because I sat down, played the song, and counted how many times he said it.
31, 32, 33, 34.
Area Codes is an undeniable hit, especially with the iconic Nate Dogg verse and chorus. The clever wordplay and flow Ludacris continues in this song while including different area codes in the song and then explaining something about that city. The beat on this is just so clean and groovy. It was produced by Jazzy Faye and just has a very, very chill vibe.
So area codes came about in such an organic way. This is my first time traveling the world, going from city to city and definitely picking up numbers and hollering at women in every single city. So I had this mental Rolodex no matter where I was at. I know if I was in Jersey, I was like 201. If I'm in New York, 718. You know, I would have all these different numbers. In terms of working with Nate Dogg, I believe I sent him the record. We had worked with him in studio so many times, but this particular time, I believe we sent it to him and waited for it to come back. When we got the record back, we knew it was an instant classic. That one I knew.
The song Growing Pains is a smooth, enjoyable song about their childhood and has a very sweet beat and chorus to it. Move Bitch is probably the most famous song on this album, known mainly for its catchy yelling chorus and that horn-heavy beat. The song was referenced in things like Hancock, ATL, and Bad Boys 2, and also includes two iconic features from Mystical and I-20, and it was Ludacris's first single to hit number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not to mention the song has now become like somewhat of a chant for protesters. Saturday probably is still the catchiest song on the album. It's my personal favorite. The intro with the vocals and different inflections throughout, and also like the short sampled vocals that's on the instrumental. I'm a big fan of vocals on the instrumental. I don't know, man. I just really like it. The album also includes another freestyle with Ludacris and 4 Eyes, using a similar like beatbox type of beat, but I actually think Ludacris has the better verse on this song, but they really have like a very similar vibe. After this album, Ludacris would branch out way more into the mainstream of popular culture. He got a role in the sequel to the popular Fast and Furious movie and created a hit song for the movie with Act a Fool, a song that would reference car topics as well as just being an overall banger.
Act a Fool was made specifically for Too Fast, Too Furious. John Singleton kind of gave me the whole premise and told me this is what we need. And we went in the studio and made it happen.
Ludacris would also be busy hopping on features such as Be Alright by Trina, Welcome to Atlanta by Jermaine Dupri, Missy Elliott with Gossip Folk and 1 Minute Man, and his iconic appearance in Holiday Inn. Plus later on he would do verses on songs like my personal favorite Sugar by Trick Daddy, Yeah and Lovers and Friends with Usher, Chopped and Screwed with T-Pain, Oh by Sierra, Unpredictable with Jamie Foxx, Glamorous with Fergie, and he even dissed T.I. on the Young Buck song Stomp. But we can't forget probably his most memorable and probably the feature that's going to be like remembered forever from Ludacris.
Man, I had a restaurant called Straits at the time. He brought Justin Bieber to us, and he did this in person. So he came and was like, yo, man, this kid is your biggest fan. He would love you to be on this record. But just from what it was perceived and looked like because of how young he was and, you know, him being from Canada and all this different stuff, I didn't look at or listen to any of that. It was strictly based on me listening to the music and believing in Justin Bieber as an artist.
Ludacris was also featured in the very popular Def Jam games, where they made him look like just super buff. It was crazy. Also, shout out to him and his performance in the movie Crash. That movie won an Oscar. That is crazy.
I'm about to throw some game. They both wanted the same. You missed the one to play. Say it.
Chicken and Beer would then come out on October 2003, which included production from people like DJ Paul, Juicy J, and even Kanye West on the second single from the album, Stand Up, which was used during a Super Bowl commercial. And while listening to the beat, you can hear the vocal-heavy samples that Kanye was doing at the time, with a very memorable music video, a trend that Luda would constantly do, and it's like this cartoony CGI thing throughout the whole video.
We were in this studio called Doppler Studio in Atlanta, Georgia. And, you know, it's so dope to think about this memory because it was literally just me, Kanye, and an engineer. He had his ASR-10 with him. You know, he goes and gets these samples, and there are not many sounds in this song. It might be like 6 sounds, but he's so particular when it comes to sonics that doom, 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 to think about how that can become a hit song because how things pierce through the speakers in a certain way and making sure that every sound is perfect lets you know how great of a producer and how much he pays to every detail.
Splash Waterfalls, another raunchy sex song on the album that was heavily censored when played. The beat was incredibly unique. Be Ever Wonderful by Ted Taylor, which was later sampled and used by Kendrick Lamar. P Poppin', the first single from the album, another raunchy club party banger a la What's Your Fantasy style. A real strip club anthem that unfortunately did not get enough airtime on MTV or radio because of the raunchy lyrics, which honestly are like pretty tame compared to lyrics nowadays, I would say. We Got and Eyebrows Down both had an early feature from 2 Chainz. And the song Screwed Up is another weed track featuring Lil Flip, which honestly got me in a lot of trouble as a kid. My mom didn't understand much English, so I can get away with playing almost anything around her. But she definitely knew what fuck you meant, and this song says it a lot. Four Eyes does not appear on a freestyle on this album. Instead, Ludacris decides to do this like cypher type beat with hip hop quotables, and this song has like some of my favorite lines throughout the album, to be honest.
Explorer like Dora, these swipers can't swipe me. My whole aura's so mean in my white teeth.
Red Light District released on December 2004, and even with this album, you can kind of see a slight change in Ludacris' sound. While he still keeps some of his original sound inside of the songs, there is a sort of mainstream element that is being added. Get Back, the first single off the album, which is sort of similar to a Move or a Stand Up, even having the same kind of cartoony music video, directed by Spike Jonze, but is probably mostly remembered for being at the end of Tropic Thunder when Tom Cruise does a little dance to it. Number One Spot, the second single off the album, samples Soul Bossa Nova by Quincy Jones, a song that a lot of people would remember as the Austin Powers theme song, which also Ludacris makes a bunch of Austin Powers references to the song, even though the last movie came out like 2 years prior. Ludacris even does a little clapback to Bill O'Reilly for making him lose his Pepsi sponsorship. I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen to Bill. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. The Potion, produced by Timbaland. The song was previewed at the end of the Number One Spot music video. The beat is incredibly unique, proving Ludacris could rap on anything. If you don't believe me, then you should watch this clip of him rapping over like a frog beat for Redman and Method Man's prank show.
Oh, he actually gonna try to rhyme to this thing.
I'm kind of a sensitive guy. Why? Can it be cause I'm feeling a sensitive high? Give me my glass flash blunts and give me my cloudy day. Give me my crown, give me my hand and get the away.
Also, fun fact, there's a clip of Timbaland showing Jay-Z this beat during the Black Album writing process, and Jay-Z passes on it just for the very next beat to be Dirt Off Your Shoulders. Very, very cool. Spur of the Moment is a smooth G-Funk era type of song featuring DJ Quick, and honestly feels like an old DJ Quick song. Blueberry Yum Yum, a weed song with a slower tempo, synth-heavy beat, along with a repetitive and elongated flow that Ludacris uses. And of course, Pimpin' All Over the World featuring Bobby Valentino, the last single off the album. It was another smooth banger, which gives similar vibes to Area Codes by talking about hoes in different area codes, and also has a very iconic outro narrated by Cat Williams talking about what is and is not pimpin'. Ludacris went on to make 4 more albums and a couple more hits in there, such as Moneymaker with Pharrell, Runaway Love, Grew Up a Screw Up with Jeezy on Release Therapy, One More Drink with T-Pain, What Them Girls Like with Chris Brown, Last of a Dying Breed with Lil Wayne, How Low, and My Chick Bad featuring Nicki Minaj. Ludacris also dropped the project Ludacris Presents Disturbing the Peace that had a big hit in it with the song Georgia. It also included the banger Getting Some Head by Shawnna. But there was some sort of identity crisis or sonic change that happened between Red Light District and Release Therapy, where Ludacris changes his style from his unique approach to something dancey that could be played at the club. And also, Ludacris did probably the worst thing he could have done for his career musically. Something so insane that I'm pretty sure it's the reason his momentum ended, and that is him cutting his hair. I mean, he had these sweet like fro styles, these cornrow styles, and it was just so iconic. And then he just looked like this. That might be a stretch, but that's my opinion. This 4-album run might not be as memorable to someone seeing it 20 years later, but having an artist do this kind of run today is almost unheard of. And I do believe Ludacris deserves way more recognition and respect with his hip-hop legacy.
What was dope about that early 2000s run by Ludacris. And this is right off the heels of him being one of the most successful DJs in the city. I think he's originally from Chicago, but he really like got to set it off in the A. I can't really think of a solo artist in Atlanta previous to that had so much continued success. Like, I mean, from the first time we heard "What's Your Fantasy," all the way to "Pimpin' all over the world," like that, and everything that happened in between, all the Cadillac grills, hoes in different area codes. That whole run was one of the most dominant runs, and it was based on somebody who was hitting them with like lyrical skill, unique flows, punches on top of punches. Like, he was a punchline king. And I think that was really like when the times changed and Atlanta started to kind of oscillate from being the fun-loving capital of hip-hop to trap music and, like, you know, D-boys, and that whole movement really became more prevalent in the forefront of Atlanta and the mainstream. It kind of changed the dynamic, and like Luda's like music, it didn't really resonate. Even that fourth album in the run, like it was dope. Like, you know, Blueberry Yum Yum was a crazy weed song and all that, but it still wasn't the same thing. But a Hot 16 from Ludacris to this day has a chance to be on the charts because he really got it. He's just like one of those seminal classic MCs in hip hop.
I really just enjoy the style and flow that Ludacris had on these early albums. I really do believe that when I was younger, these kinds of songs like molded my taste in rap and really gave me like a real appreciation for music from the South. Like, because of this album, I listened to a lot of Outkast and even ventured into like T.I. and stuff like that. So I just really enjoyed this album run from Ludacris. Tell me some of your favorite Ludacris songs in the comments down below. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
The little person hanging from my necklace. I remember being on the video set and somebody coming up to me, he was a little person, and he said, "Just so you know, midget is a derogatory term. You shouldn't say that. It's little people." And I learned a lesson that day, man, and it was a very valuable lesson.